All right, it took a little while, but we got Tony connected, everybody. Tony, the Demolition Man, Dolan. Tony, how are you, my friend? It's been a while.
What's up? What's up, buddy?
What's going on, buddy?
It's all good. It's all good. I'm just nursing the cold now because we went to South America. Of course, it's summer there. I got back on Christmas Eve, and the last time we went, I was a complete doofus and very English, and had a big leather coat and big jumpers and a woolly hat, and sweated my ass off. So this time I went, I thought, don't be a dick, just take a t-shirt, which I did, which was fantastic. I was totally cool, and it was lovely and warm, and then I came back to London, and it was like degrees, and I stood on a fucking tube for an hour and a half with just a t-shirt on, looking like a right dick and freezing my nuts off. So now I have a flu, and no, it's not man flu, it's a proper real flu.
Oh, okay. As long as it's not that man flu, you're okay.
Yeah, for all the women there going, a fucking man flu, what a pussy. It's not, it's a real flu.
Well, you know, there was a scientific survey done that said when a man gets a cold, it's equivalent to when a woman gets the flu. So we can get it.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
Hey, Tony, listen. I mean, you've been busy as hell the last couple of years, but now with Venom, yeah. I mean, this thing just came out of nowhere for a lot of fans, and it seems like it's just taken over. I mean, it's unbelievable, you know, the attention that the band is getting right now. It's incredible.
Yeah, it's true, and I mean, it took us by surprise. In all honesty, it took us by surprise. Funnily enough, I got a message just today. Oh, can you still hear me?
Yeah, you're coming through. You're good.
Okay, good. Yeah, I got a message just today through the Venom Inc. site on Facebook from some guy who said, man, I just saw Venom's coming to Texas. Is this really true, or are you just a cover band? So I wrote back and said, no, it's not a cover band, it's a real thing. And he went, shit. He said, man, I must be out the loop. I didn't even know Venom had any issues. And I said, wow, fucking hell. You've been living under a fucking rock, brother.
Oh my God.
You know, yeah, there's been one or two. But yeah, I mean, literally, you know, we were rolling through the Empire thing and looking to do the new album. And then I played a show as Atom Craft up in Newcastle, invited Mantis on stage to play a couple of songs with me, of course, he's my brother. And Abaddon just happened to be in the audience. And the promoter from Keep It True was also in the audience. And after we did the show, I got a message from Oliver Weishammer in Germany saying, look, you know, I loved the show. It was really cool. I wonder if I could book Empire View to play Keep It True in Germany. I said, yeah. He said, it's kind of a retro festival. So what I'm thinking is, I happened to see Abaddon in the audience, and I wondered, you know, what would happen if Abaddon joined you on stage and you played a couple of Venom songs? So I said, well, yeah, it would be cool. And he said, you know, be for the fans, something special. Would you consider it? So I thought, well, okay, I mean, I might have my work cut out trying to put Mantis and Abaddon back together, you know, because the Venom camp is always in a bit of disarray, as everybody knows. But, you know, I spoke to Abaddon, and he was up for it. And then I spoke to Mantis, and he was a bit nervous at first, but how's it going to work? And I said, well, look, you know, we go on, we play 4 or 5 songs as Empire, we switch to Abaddon, and we just do it for the audience. We just do it to have some fun, just as a bit of a tip of the hat to everybody for being, you know, behind the band for so long. I mean, Venom as a whole, not just my period or Kronos' period, but just Venom as a whole. And we just go out there and have some fun. And these people want to have a good time over the weekend. Why the fuck not? So we decided we'd do it. We picked 4 or 5 songs that we thought would be classic. I wanted to include Sons of Satan because it's how the whole thing kicked off, really, from that song, you know, and the whole meaning behind it. And that's what we did. We went on stage, we played, we had a good time. 2,000 people singing along to Cantus Bath 3 Can't Be Bad, makes you feel good. But we didn't consider anything beyond that. But by the time, the following day when I was leaving Germany, my phone was going fucking nuts. And people were going, oh my God, holy shit, have you seen this on YouTube, blah, blah, blah. Are you going to tour? Are you going to make an album? And it was like, what? No. And then I was like, fuck. And I thought, well, hold on a second. We got an offer to play Asia, China and Japan and Taiwan. And then we got offered some South American dates in North America. And then we got a European offer. So I thought, well, maybe we could. So I spoke to the 2 guys and said, look, you know, if we don't plan this, if we just do what the fans want us to do, and if they want us, we just go out and play. do you want to do that? So they said, yeah, fuck it. Why not? So that's what we did, you know. I mean, for a long time, everybody knows that the fans wanted to get Cronus, Mantis, and Abaddon back together. There was talk about it. Some American guy had apparently $1 million on the table, which, you know, kind of wasn't there really. But there was an idea that maybe they could do a bunch of festivals every year as the three of them, do some big shows, give something back to the fans. But Cronus just was not interested. He's doing his new band with his new albums, and he's happy with his music. And to be fair, you know, I think the new material is his identity now, and the boys in his band. Is it true Venom? I don't know. You know, I'm not even there to answer that question. You know, but I do know that the world needs a Venom. And it needs an attitude, not just a name, not just a fucking logo, not just some t-shirts to sell or a fucking gimp mask to sell for $200. Or, you know, it's not marketing. Venom was never about corporate marketing. It was about a spirit, a feel, an ideology, booking the trend, finger into the face of the corporates, and I just felt that was kind of missing. So that's why I thought, you know, after listening to Mantis and Abaddon complaining about what was happening to the Venom scene, and the fans wanting to see those two guys, but only getting to see Kronos because he was directing everything and controlling everything and manipulating the press and everything else. And then he started denouncing everybody who'd ever been in the band, including, you know, Mantis, who wrote the fucking albums, the first two albums, and Abaddon, who designed and built the whole logo. And I thought, well, these guys are as much part of this, and they deserve something out of this. And if it comes down to the fans, at the end of the day, the reason any band exists is because of fans buying their money, paying their loyalty, and they deserve what they want. And they wanted to see Mantis and Abaddon. And if they could see it with Kronos, they would love that. But if they couldn't see them with Kronos, they wanted to see them anyway. And I considered it my job to not give a fuck what anybody thought of me, but to bring the two guys together and to bring them out. And that's why I put it together. That's why we're out. And what's happened is, we haven't stopped touring. We haven't even had a chance to put the album together. We're writing as fast as we can, hopefully through the summer, but basically it just hasn't stopped. But we're not planning anything. We've just said yes to everything. You know, the vicar next door goes, hey, I'm having some people over for tea. Would you guys pop in and do a couple of tunes? We're going, yes. And that's basically what we're doing. And it's fantastic.
But that's a good thing too. I mean, you know, when you look at it over the history of Venom, I mean, yeah, you had the three original members, but you were a part of Venom also in the day. And at one point or another, every member of Venom wasn't in Venom for a long period of time, including Kronos and then Mantis and then Abaddon.
Exactly. Everybody was in and out. Everybody went in and out.
Yeah. So who makes claim to the name? What makes Venom Venom? Is it Kronos that makes Venom Venom? Is it Mantis, Abaddon, or yourself that make Venom? What makes Venom Venom? That one's more important than the other. One shouldn't exist without the other.
I think that's it. I think the thing is that someone wrote to me not so long ago, or wrote a piece not so long ago, and they said, you know, when someone says, I prefer Paul Diano, I prefer Bruce Dickinson, and they said, when someone says, I prefer Bruce Dickinson and Iron Maiden, they're not saying that they're you know, they're not saying that the Diana thing, they're not saying they're an Iron Maiden fan. What they're saying is they're a Bruce Dickinson fan. And I think that's kind of it. I mean, nobody can take away those seminal albums that were done, you know, Welcome to Hell, Black Metal, War with Satan, and Possessed. Okay, maybe the last two were a bit weaker than the first two, but, you know, Welcome to Hell is an outstanding album for its chaos, for its approach, for its attitude. And then Black Metal is a polished version of what was lying there, you know, and it can't be surpassed, which is why they make, you know, top 100 albums and they get so much acclaim, and they began genre and blah 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 blah. You know, the whole thing. We know the legend, but those are important. Now, you know, the first time I heard Ace of Spades with Lemmy was singing it chilled me to the bone. The first time I heard Overkill with Lemmy, it chilled me to the bone. Can Mickey D play the drums on it? Of course he can. Can Phil Campbell play the guitar on it? Of course he can. Can Lemmy sing it? You know, could someone else sing it? Of course they could. But that moment that I first heard it will never change for me. So those three people doing it at that particular point, that's what made me shudder to the bone. And I want to relive that. And that's kind of what happens all the way along the Venom history. People join it at Primeval, or they join it at Resurrection, or they join it at Possessed or Welcome to Hell. And those moments for those people are when they joined the train. Now, if you join later, there's a whole rich back catalogue, and there's a forward catalogue, and you can enjoy Venom in all sorts of different guises, through all sorts of faces. But to denounce a period against another period is kind of missing the point, you know. When we did it in the 90s, metal was changing. You know, grunge came in, and the whole face of music was changing from a metal thing, and we tried to stick to our guns. We laid back a bit on the satanic thing, you know, but we stuck to our guns, tried to give attitude, the same kind of attitude, the same kind of veracity that Venom was known for, and keep the fun element in. And I think these days, maybe we looked at what was happening with Venom, the current Venom, and the fun element was gone. You know, it didn't seem like a loose cannon. It didn't seem dangerous, and the fun element was gone. And all of those elements which made Venom specific and different, and we wanted to bring that to life again. And what we found was, naturally, the three of us are like that. The same as Cronus Mantis and Abaddon are like that. You can't pretend to be like that, and you can't create yourself into that character. You either are or you're not, and we found that we are, and so we attacked the stage with all of that veracity, with all of that intent, with all of that emotion, and the emotional feedback has been incredible. Really, really has. I mean, 40-odd-year-old guys crying, hugging, saying, "Oh my God, I felt like I was 16 again." I said, "Good, so did I. Yeah, you made me feel 16 again." And it's just about, like I said in an interview in Costa Rica, I said, look, what happens is we have a young person inside us who balks against everything, and he wants to scream his voice out. He wants to be individually, and he wants to be recognized. And he does that through usually his dress and his music. And what happens over the years is we begin to conform. You know, you can't park here, you can't park there, you must pay this, you can't pay that, you have to look after this, you can't do that, you must be on time, you mustn't be late, you can only take your holiday here, you know, and everything we do is conforming, and we forget that we still have that rebel inside us, because we're usually conforming to society. And if I can take people out of themselves for an hour and a half to 2 hours on stage so that they can be that 16-year-old again, not giving two fucks, it just shows you that it doesn't matter what age you are, it's still inside us. And once a month, you know, I said to some guy, I said, "Hey, what's your favorite band?" He was like, "Well, you know, it's Judas Priest." I said, "Okay, this is what I want you to do. Once a month, right, regardless of what you're doing, I want you to fuck everybody off out the house, turn the lights out, close the curtains, crank up your favorite Priest album, get a tennis racket, and play the motherfucking shit out of it. You know, play a Madison Square Garden, you RKK down in Glen Tippin. Just let yourself go, and you'll feel liberated. And that person is always with us. So if we can do that with this Venom, then that's what I want to do. That's the whole intent with it. Make people feel alive again.
I think you're doing that. And I'm not saying this because I'm your friend, but I remember when you brought Empire of Evil to New York for the first time in Brooklyn, and we were there. And, you know, the energy in that room that night, I've never seen that place crowded that way before. And when you broke out the Venom songs, I mean, you went through the old catalog, you went through your songs with Venom, the crowd went crazy. And I was saying to myself, I feel like this is 1985 all over again. Yeah. And I wish they would do a whole show like this. And now you are.
Well, that was it. I mean, the whole idea was Empire was to play Empire songs, not to play any Venom songs. Even though you got Mantis there, people were kind of fucking hell, he's right there. You should play something. And we left that to the fans to pick a couple of songs. Okay, if we played, what would you like to hear? So we ended up moderating the set to include them, but only because we didn't have enough Empire material. Whereas by doing the Venoming, it was my other thinking was like, well, if we do the Venoming, we don't need to include Empire material, and we don't need to include Venom when we do Empire material. We can keep them both specific. So, you know, by picking a set that we're bringing to America in January, which is full of classic songs you haven't heard played in front of you before, and to put together a real classic set. People will go, some people on the South American said, oh, you know, why didn't you play stuff from Temples of Ice or more from Primeval? It's like, well, you know, it's early days. We didn't get an opportunity to rehearse this. We just selected a bunch of songs that we thought would be a great set that ran into each other, that would give everybody a piece of something. And to be fair, we relied on I wanted to, as much as anything, rely on the first couple of albums, because those were the seminal albums that gave you that spirit, that the whole thing started from. And I thought, if we can deliver those with the exact feeling that they had in 1981, to make people realize that it is still poignant, and it is still contemporary in this market. The songs are the songs, and those are great songs. And each one of those songs, from Die Hard to Countess Bathory, they involve an audience. They are part of the audience. It's to stand on stage and play black metal, and watch people in Costa Rica going fucking crazy, and people in Mexico and people in Brazil just going, Rio was sold out. I've seen nothing like it. I couldn't even breathe. They went so mental. They sung every single lyric to every single song from the beginning to the end, and so loud I couldn't even hear me singing. And they were keeping me right on some of the verses as well. But it was as much, I realized it's not the Venom's ownership anymore. It's theirs. They own this band. The fans own this band, and that's why it's important to give them what they want. The amount of requests for the material, we could play fucking 3 days, never mind 3 hours of a set. But what I promised everybody is, like, don't worry, we will play every song that you want to hear over the next 2 years. We just can't do it all in one show, because we'll be there until the cows come home. But I want to. I certainly want to. But you said about in New York, this time around with adding Abaddon, you'll see when you come, there's an element that he adds, which is just his character. And Venom is about larger than life characters delivering something pulverizing, uncompromising, with all the technology today, with drum triggers and all that digital polishing and all that shit. You forget that we got on stage, we take 3 people. When we did the European tour with Vader, we had no backdrops, fuck all. Vader had the backdrops and we had nothing. And one guy said to me, you guys don't have a backdrop. And I said, don't you know who the fuck we are? And he said, well, yeah. I said, so why do I need a fucking backdrop with my name on it? And he was like, yeah. I said, we need this. We need the lights out, the fans in, and the fucking amps on 11. And that's all we ever need. 3 guys, 2 plug in, 1 sits behind a drum kit, and we just play old school, real music, loud as fuck, as hard as we can, as aggressive as possible. And when you watch this show, there's that element that, is it going to fall apart? Have they rehearsed it to within an inch of its life? Or is this a moving animal that at any point is going to run off the tracks and smash straight into your face? And that's what I want. That's the spirit of Venom, the uncompromising energy. And what we've been doing is we've been delivering that to the audience, who've been delivering it back in abundance. And it's been making for amazing shows. I mean, amazing shows. In South America, I don't know, 20, 30 people a night coming, going, that was the show of my life. That was the show of this year. I'll never forget this. I've waited 20 years for this. And I'm thinking, holy fuck, if we're getting that reaction right now, the thing's bigger than we are. It's just rolling away. But we're not trying to manipulate it. We're not trying to calculate this thing. We're not touting around, flags with the Venom name on, bringing people into the show, guest lists and people who can't afford it. The idea was to get people into the show as much as we can. And we went to Mexico. We played in Tampico, Mexico. Now, you know where Tampico is, don't you?
Tampico's near the Rio Grande.
Exactly. There you go. Exactly. Now, most people, if I'm in Monterrey or fucking Cancun or Mexico, everybody go, yeah, sure. But Tampico, people go, Tampico. Even the people in Tampico were going, fucking hell, you came here. And it's only did. But it was important to us. We were invited there. We went there and had a fucking amazing show. And in Tampico, it was more than just a show. It was an event. And we, instead of people from Tampico not being able to afford to travel on a fucking bus 25 hours to Mexico City to see a band, we had people from Mexico City flying into Tampico to come and see us, driving from Monterrey. You know, that was what was cool. We put Tampico on the map. And they became important, and they flew their flag that night as a proud city, and we're going, we can't believe you guys are here. And I said, but that's, you know, that's what we're about. We could go to the Whiskey a Go-Go, we could go to Sunset Strip and play the obvious place, but who the fuck goes to Laredo, Texas and plays a little bar club there? We do. We do. Why? Because there's fucking fans there. And that guy there may have spent his whole life collecting the albums. He's invested his whole life in it. It means something to him. So am I going to play somewhere he can never get to see us? I'm a fuck. If he wants me to go there and play from, that's where we're going. You know, everybody's important in this, and without the fans, there is no bands. And you know, that's what Mantis delivers in his speech each night, and that's what we mean. And you can talk a right load of shit, as some of our friends do in the press and on YouTube fucking videos about, oh, you know, our fans. You know, I just heard a story where someone had waited 3 hours at Partisan to get an autograph at a meet and greet, only to get right to the front minutes before they were supposed to do the signing to be told that Venom's not signing because their food didn't turn up. And this person had waited 3 fucking hours with all their albums. That was it. You're done. We went to keep it true. And there was a kind of 20-minute signing, and we were there like 2 hours just signing everything we could possibly sign. And when we were forced to go backstage because other bands wanted to play, we sat in the backstage dressing room while our web administrator was running out to get people's albums to bring them in so we could keep signing for them. And then as soon as we'd done all that, before we went to food, we went out the front and then took the rest of the pictures. You know, because it is important. It is important. You know, these people spend money and they spend their lives, and we want to give back.
It's true. But people don't realize that. They wait forever sometimes in some countries and some regions to see you guys come to town. And to kind of blow them off is like a real crappy thing to do, because that means the world to these people. And the fact that you're out there with them, that just makes not their day, but for some of them, their life. They live for that.
Yes. Yes. There's a beautiful woman called Sammy. She came to Limira, the last show in Brazil, and she was outside the hotel. And as I was getting into the bus to go back to the venue, Tony, some people were shouting. So I went through the foyer, went out, took some photographs, and met this woman, you know, who has some health issues. And she told me the story. She traveled 3 hours or 6 hours to get there. She didn't have any money, so the people, the friends that were there helped her get there. And I said, okay, well, I hope it's worth it. Please enjoy the show. And they said, well, she's not coming into the show because she doesn't have a ticket. I said, why don't you have a ticket? She went, well, I didn't really have the money, but, you know, I've waited my life to meet Abaddon and Mantis. And I said, okay, go round to the front of the venue and wait for me there. I'll come and get you personally. But as it happens, I had a female assistant who was with us. The 2 girls were brilliant, and I said to Fafs as we drove around, I said, you see the woman in the red shirt there? Go and get her in, bring her straight in. And so we brought her into the show, and then afterwards we did a signing with photographs, and I knew she wanted one with all 3 of us, and particularly with those guys. So I said, look, you come with me. And I brought her around, and she sat right behind us for the whole time. And then when it was quiet, I said, okay, let's take your photographs. And the poor woman was crying, and I was hugging her, going, well, don't get upset, babe. But, you know, to her, it was like, oh my God, I didn't think this would ever happen. Those are the moments you take forward. You know, it's very easy for walking into a venue for someone to say, can I get a picture? And you go, no, not now, later. And then they never get a chance later. Or could you sign this? And go, no, I can't be fucked, I've just signed 50. It's like, hey, you ask me, I'll sign it. You want a picture? I'm not going to say, give me $60 and I'll stand there while you walk in and smile and fuck off again. What the fuck is that about? It's like, you know, I'm a fan too, and I appreciate the value of it. And I don't really give a fuck what anybody else thinks. That's what we do, and that's how I want to do it. And I appreciate every single fan, every single word, you know, and if I can give them every single piece of me, that's my job. That's why I'm there. I'm there to bring them together and make them feel they're part of this band. You know, we're not playing at them, we're with them, and that's important.
That impression always comes off during any one of your shows, no matter what band you're in, whether it's Adam Kraft or Venom or Empire Viva. You always giving that impression to the fans that you're one of us. You know, you're up there with us, and together we're doing it. That's always been like a staple of your performance.
Oh well, I'm glad. You know, I mean, you know, as someone said, someone had an issue with me in Rio, a female. And everything was great, and it was cool, and it was all brilliant. And then she didn't get what she wanted, and then she said, "Oh, you know, you're fake, and you're just smiling." And you know, and I was going, "Mate, no way." I said, "You know, without the fans, there is no me, and this isn't about my ego. Yes, it's if someone says, 'Hey, Mike, your show fucking rules. You rule. I love the show.' You're gonna feel good, you know. But at the end of the day, you also are intelligent enough to go." They're happy because I put a good show together. It's entertaining, and they enjoy it. So yeah, it works on an ego thing. You do feel good if someone says you're good, and you do feel shit if someone says you suck. You know, but you can't take praise if you can't take the negative stuff. So if I don't want to hear people saying I'm a cocksucker and I can't polish Cronus's boots, I have to equally not take, "Oh my God, you're a legend," and blah blah blah. You know, so I take it all in my stride. But what I try and do beyond that is to communicate with those people that, you know, I'm one of you. I am you. You know, the difference between me and you is I'm up there and you're down there, but we're in it together. Yeah. Without you, there's no me. Without me, there's no you, kind of thing. You know. And that's why I reach out so much, so that they know that there's no barrier, that we're a band of the people, for the people, by the people, you know?
Yeah. I mean, do you think things are more vicious today with people and the way they approach artists? I mean, listen, not everybody's going to be a fan of everybody's music, everybody's band. And it's one thing to say, listen, you know, I'm not really a fan of Venom, you know, but good luck. It's another thing to get vicious and mean. And you find that that's a lot more commentary with people just really brutal instead of just saying, you know, I'm not into you guys, and walk away, where they'll just like attack you over it.
Well, yeah, I mean, you know, it's because of social media, isn't it? Because everybody wants to be famous, and so they all get a chance to have a Facebook page and be popular and have friends lists. So, you know, before, in the old days, it was like, you know, I mean, I don't know where I ever went and bought an album and then went round and told everybody in the pub that it sucked, you know, that they were shit. You know, I just bought the album that I wanted to buy, listened to it, and if I liked it, I listened to it a lot. If I didn't like it, I filed it with the rest of my LPs. If the band came into town and I loved them, I'd go and see them and enjoy myself. If the band came into town and I didn't like the album, I wouldn't go and see them. But these days, it seems to be, you know, and most people don't know the bands I liked and the bands I didn't like. Because why would I tell them I didn't need to talk about that? If someone in a bar or a club said, "Hey, did you hear the new blah blah?" and I go, "Yeah, well, I'm not that keen on it." "Oh, I loved it." "Oh, I hated it." I go, "Yeah, it was okay." You know, you might have a small discussion. But these days, it seems that people want to come on your page or on your media to say how shit you are. It's like, why, if you think we're so shit, why come and tell us that we're shit? Why not fuck off and keep it to yourself?
Exactly.
You know, you're just wasting your own time to come and say, "I think you suck, why don't you fucking die?" It's like, well, why did you want to come in and tell us? You know, surely you're making a connection with us. You know, and I think the thing is, it's like, if you've got something that you feel is very precious, you don't want it to change. Nobody likes change. You know, in the early days, nobody wanted Ozzy to leave Sabbath. Certainly nobody wanted Dio to die. You know, nobody wanted to lose Hendrix. You know, I mean, you know, or Cliff Burton. You know, we don't want these tragedies in our life. We want to keep it as pure as possible. Deep Purple should have been Deep Purple forever. Rainbow should have been Rainbow forever. Zeppelin should have just kept on being 23-year-old guys being Zeppelin. You know, that's how everybody looks at it. But that doesn't happen in reality. So things change, people change, age, die. Shit just happens to us in our lives. But it's very difficult to accept that change. Yeah. And as a fan, when your favorite piece of music changes for whatever reason, it's very difficult to take that in, and it takes a long time. And sometimes it never changes for you. So you feel a bit of resentment. And I understand that. I understand people's resentment. But what they need to understand is going fucking nowhere, regardless of what they say or what fucking Cronus Land says or fucking anybody says. We're here to stay and we'll keep going. Now, you have a choice. Don't fucking listen to us. just fuck off and do whatever you want to do. Or give yourself that opportunity, open your fucking mind and stand in front of us. If you stand in front of us and we don't deliver, then you can cut us off. But to do it without even bothering is weak. That's just weak stuff. And I'm not having a go at anybody. I'm just saying that if you wanted to see all of the guys and you can't get them in the same room, but you do have an opportunity to have it all, how cool is it having all Venom? You have Kronos with his band, who, let's face it, those guys are good players and they're not doing a bad job. And now you have us doing it our way, and we're okay too. So why not have everything? Why not have everything? You know, you're throwing away half your collection for what? For no reason, because you're in the huff, because it's not perfect the way you want it to be. Well, start your own band, and then you can be as perfect as you like.
Yeah.
You know, but I think just don't be narrow-minded. You know, with music, when you're 16, you're narrow-minded. This is great. I love New York hardcore. Everything else sucks, big wank, and I won't listen to it. And then 40 years later, you go, actually, you know, that Dolly Parton single, I quite like that. You know, I found myself humming along to that Ice-T tune or something. You know, yeah. It's like, I won't go as far as Justin Bieber, but you know what I mean? You totally go, hey, you know what? That last Snoop Dogg single was pretty catchy, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Because we learn to broaden our minds, and we accept the way music is. We lose that singularity. But, you know, once a metal fan, always a metal fan.
Oh,
and that's the beauty of heavy metal.
I agree, Tony. You know, it's funny. It's like, you know, you go back to the heyday of metal, the late 70s, you know, early 80s. Anytime a key member left the band, it was going to be difficult for that band, especially when it was a singer. But now we went through the 90s where metal kind of lost its way and people didn't have it anymore. Now it's back again. People are enjoying it. And people are just so happy to see anybody. I mean, you have bands out there playing with, like, just the keyboard player and 5 members, and the packing places in because people just want to hear the music. And you guys are really 3 members of Venom. Yeah.
That's exactly it. That's the beauty of it. I think it's like, you know, you want, you know, kids as well as older people as well, but even younger audience now, they're getting an opportunity to see these icons that they heard about playing these songs that they've heard, you know, from back in the day, and they want it. They want what their mums and dads had. They want the vinyl, and they want the shows, and they want this delivery. And so, you know, they're not bothered as long as they can get to see it. And I think it's, you know, it may be being a bit of a bandwagon that everybody and their uncle just decide to drag their guitars out and get back out there playing, but I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that just shows that we fumbled down an alleyway and we come to a dead end, and it just sort of stopped, and then everybody's realized that there actually was a door there. You kicked it open again and went, hang on, we can still keep doing this. And if we're delivering, you know, if we were going out there and not delivering, then I would understand. But particularly from our point of view, as with many other bands, Diamond Heads and Blitzkrieg Satans, all of those bands, you know, except Udo even, you know.
Yeah.
And I think the thing is that if we go out there and we play, the fans will tell us if it sucks and they don't want to hear it. And so far, we've gone all the way through Europe, all the way through Asia, all the way through South America, about to come back to North America, then we'll go to Asia again, then we've got the European tour. People are clamoring for an album, which I'm trying desperately to find space to do, and it hasn't stopped. We can't stop. It's like the minute we put our tools down, the phone goes and they're going, right, you've got to come here again. It's like, fuck, okay. You know, and we turn up and think, you know, in the old days, we would turn up and think, well, you know, you hope everybody goes into the show and goes, is there many people in? And every tour I've done, people come just before the show and go, there's a few in, or there's this in, or there's that in, or the house is not so bad. On this, we've never asked. We just walk out there, and every night I walk out there and take a deep breath. And I'm shocked by how many people are there crammed into the places, going absolutely nuts. And there's been no chance of venoming. Everybody's just having Venom. Everywhere, from Japan through to, you know, Costa Rica and Chile. You know, they're into the music, and it's about the spirit, and they want to live it again. And that's why these bands are out there making it happen, you know.
Yeah.
And to also put it this way, Mike, in all honesty, is that most of us are aged musicians, and we're probably, 30 to 50% better than we were back then, because we've got the experience now. We know how to play, we know how to perform, we know how to deliver to an audience. And so they're getting absolutely the best of us. They may be looking at three fucking ancient dudes on stage and fuck me, they look old close up. But, well, apart from me, obviously, I mean, they say that about me, they say, wow, you look like 20. Even though my hip tells me I'm 62. But they feel the energy, and if we couldn't deliver, we wouldn't be doing it. So, while we still can, that's what it's about. Yeah. And I think it's brilliant to go all over the world and to see, people, 16, 17, 18, you're meeting the next generation. And these people, people talk about my period and go, Demolition Man, when he was on fucking Cross, he didn't do the original albums. I mean, fucking hell, is that Venom, is that? Well, I've got to tell you that we've had people coming to the shows who weren't even fucking born when Venom did the reunion album, Cast in Stone. Yeah. They were born after that album, so it's like, fucking hell, Those kids don't give a shit. They don't give a shit about the propaganda. They don't give a shit about anything. What they want to hear is they want to hear those Venom's tunes delivered in a venomous way, and that's what we do.
Well, you got to mix in a lot of this stuff from your albums, because I loved when Empire put out the Crucified record, and you kind of finally went back to your version of the Venom stuff, because that came out at a time when metal was changing. I think a lot of people didn't really get into it or appreciate it, even though it was going around at the time. So it was kind of cool that you touched on it again.
Well, yeah, I mean, that was it. Metal was changing in the early 90s, and Primary, done in 88, 89, was at the back end of that. So, that was a big album. But by the time we were running ourselves through Wastelands, it was like heavy metal was not making the magazines. Kerrang! Magazine had changed to some pop magazine, Metal Hammer, all the magazines were suffering. The distribution wasn't so good. People were changing what they liked, doing into grunge or Britpop here, and it was rock and roll. So they kind of lost their way in the heavy metal thing. But we just forged through, as is Venom's way, to just go, but we'll just keep going just as much as they do now. They don't conform still. They just carry on doing it their way, and fashion changes, but the band doesn't change. It's still as ugly and as noisy and as distasteful as ever. And it gets critique for all of that, of course. But I think that's it. I think with Empire, what we wanted to do was the catalogue, which people had been trying to get their hands on, those albums, Temples of Ice, Wastelands, and Tear Your Soul Apart, all of those materials had been, the masters were owned by Universal Records. Universal Records has a subsidiary called Spine Farm. Venom is on Spine Farm. Kronos' Venom is on Spine Farm. He didn't want, if you look at the box set, he didn't mention me or mention the songs. They weren't included in the full box set anthology because he doesn't want my period recognized as being Venom, because he doesn't think it's Venom. And there may be some fans who also agree with him, fair enough, but there's also a lot of fans that don't agree, and it's very unfair to a portion that one portion decides what is to happen. So, but Universal told me it was a conflict of interest because they were promoting his Venom, and that was a different Venom, and so they weren't prepared to re-release. So because they owned the masters, there was no way I could get the masters to re-release the stuff while we were doing Empire. So me and Jeff decided, well, why don't we pick the songs that we like from those albums and re-record them? That way they can become Empire songs. We can include them in the set justifiably and put the album Crucified out. And then a lot of people said, well, they re-recorded all their Venom songs, but because of those albums had been limited in their distribution and forgotten because of the period of music at that time, and certainly inhibited from being re-released because of Kronos' agreement with the record label, it meant that they were impossible to get a hold of. Maybe you could get vinyl for $200 on eBay, which was driving me crazy, thinking, what the fuck's going on? Can we not just re-release them as a cheap box set or something? So by re-recording the masters, it meant they didn't have any control. We now owned the masters, so we could put those songs out. So it was kind of a way to release the songs so people could get at some of those songs, and then we could play them in our set justifiably. Of course, I didn't have the foresight to even assume that Venom Inc. would happen, and now Venom Inc.'s happened, and of course we're re-looking at all of those sort of things. I'd rather not re-record them, I'd rather get a re-release.
Yeah.
Of course, now we're legitimizing ourselves as a band, then we're going to force Universal's hand to release the box set, because Kronos doesn't have control anymore, and nor should he. I mean, we shouldn't have control. Nobody should have control. You know, the music is the music. It's the legacy, and the fans should be able to listen to it. Why can't they listen to it? You know, because one guy decides he doesn't want that. It's not up to him. It's not up to us. It's only up to the fans. And you know, my point with the publishers and with the record label was, look, the reason we write songs and we record songs and we release songs is for fans to hear them. So, you know, we've done all that work. The fans want to hear them. You have no right to withhold that music from anybody if they want to hear it. And so I think, you know, now we're going to have to challenge it legally, because it's just, it's, you know, it's inhibiting the promotion of the music, of course, an income that we could have been making, or anything else, you know. But at the end of the day, for me, it's about the fans, and I think you're shortchanging the fans who want to buy an album that they can buy, that you have the masters that could be put out very cheaply. Give it to us. I even told the guy at Universal once, I said, give me the shit then. If it's just going to sit in a vault and you're going to do nothing with it, just give it to me and I'll put it out. You know, I'll find a license and I'll put this stuff out. But don't let it rot away just because you're being a child or being pedantic. It's like, that's not fair to anybody. It's not fair to the composers, but certainly not fair to the fans who want to hear the material. So, you know, stay tuned. We'll see what can happen. But I'm prepared to keep my boots on and kick the fuck out of them until we can get somewhere, you know.
That's what you got to do. Well, Tony, I'm not going to keep you much longer. I know it's getting late there. And I need you to rest your voice, because you're going to be here in New York in less than 2 weeks. I'm glad that you're going to get this tour rescheduled.
Good to see you. Yeah, baby.
Yeah, we'll meet up again. I'll be out there when you get. I think you're here on the 9th or the 11th in New York. I think so. I'm looking forward to seeing you when you get to town again. And the next beer's on me.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. The next beer's on me. I owe you.
All right, Tony. You got it. We'll make sure it's more than one, so we have to split it.
Oh, shit, yeah. Let's have 2, and then we'll have 1 each. And then we'll split the third one.
Hey, listen. You have a happy New Year, Tony. I'll see you when you get here in January.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Mike. And the best to you, your family, and all the listeners and everybody. And have a great 2016. And don't forget, we'll be through America. Check the website, www.venoming.com. Have a look on the Facebook page. All of our US dates are there. And we're so excited to be coming. And we've got so many dates, all of January. And I just can't wait. In a couple of weeks, we'll be there. And we're going to kick the living shit out of it. I promise you.
I don't doubt it. I'll see you guys then. Take care, buddy.
All right, bless you. Thank you, Mike. Take care, man. Bye for now.
Mr. Tony, Demolition Man, Dolan. You know what? We had to connect on Facebook using that messenger, so it took a little while. But I think it came through pretty good. And I want to thank Tony. I know it's getting late there. He's not like our buddy Kyron who gets to hang out all night long. He's got important stuff to do. All right. Well, we played Empire of Evil. We played some Adam Kraft. Later on in the show, we'll get some Venom on. But how about now we jump into some of the albums that came out in 2015. Let's start with a band that really influenced Tony a lot over the years. You can hear in it his sound, his style, and his music, and that's Motorhead. Off the Bad Magic record, here's Tell Me